Hignet's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central. For David Dunn! David Dunn equalises! It just had to be! Dack's corner and it goes. Glance towards goal! And Rovers have taken the lead! And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the Championship.
Hello Rovers fans and welcome to another live edition of On the Other Side with me, Ryan Hildred from Rovers Chat. It was another disappointing performance from Rovers last time out as we scraped a 1-1 draw at home to Stoke City. But we're back in league action again really quickly, this time tomorrow night at home to inform Swansea City. It was defeat last time for us at the Liberty Stadium in October, as goals from Ben Cabango and Andre Ayew unsurprisingly sunk Rovers. But I am delighted to be joined once again by Rhys, or with Rhys, from the Swans Away Days YouTube channel. And you're the first, Rhys, to come back onto the show for the second time this season. So how are you doing?
Absolute pleasure. Love to see it. Yeah, very good, thank you. And obviously it helps with Swansea being in great form at the minute.
That's it. I am very sure that you are absolutely buzzing with that. And I think you've brought some of your followers with you as well. So hello to Duguzzi from the Swans Away Days. And hello to Dizzy Thumbs down in Tasmania, Australia. And also hello, Michael Pearson. Good to see the regular names joining us again. For those of you new to the channel, or those of you also joining us tonight, do comment with us tonight, as you always do. Let us know what you think about Rovers, about Swansea. And as Michael has put here, wait till you see the pitch. So good to see everyone interacting with us this evening. If you are new, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is Rovers Chat on YouTube, and on Twitter, we are Rovers_chat on Twitter. But before we start, we are, of course, sponsored by 6yardsout.com. The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below. Thank you to 6yardsout.com for their very, very kind sponsorship of the channel, as they have done all season. And just to say hello to everyone who's joined us. Hello, Alexander, and hello, El Scotty, more of our regular viewers that we like to see. So, Rhys, let's make a start on this preview then. Swansea City have had a pretty good season so far. Second in the league, 4 wins in 5 games. And with the pattern of, you know, the Championship leaning more towards those Premier League clubs who get relegated, being the ones that do the better, have you been quite surprised with your first half of the season? Ooh, I'm not sure if people can hear you. El Scotty says hello, hello. Speak again, Rhys. Ooh, you can hear me. Say hello again.
Hello.
You're back. Sorry, you're gonna have to
hear me now,
can hear you now. I don't know. We had a gremlin on the line, which is why I thought El Scotty said hello, hello. Sorry, you'll have to do all of that again.
Sorry about that. No worries. Like I was saying, it was very hard to really suggest if we were going to have a poor season or, you know, carry on the good form from last season. We've carried that on all season based. We've only had 4 losses, which is a very good in 24 games. Got an incredible defensive record as well. I believe we've actually got more clean sheets and goals conceded, which is absolutely remarkable. We can grind games out as well on poor pitches, and I know a few of your viewers are saying your pitch is very poor. We had a very poor pitch as well. But when you came to the Liberty Stadium, you were one of the lucky ones who had actually a good pitch that day. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the game goes tomorrow.
Yeah, and just going into this a little bit further then, what do you think the reason for the good first half of the season is? So when we spoke last time, Rhys, when you were on the show last time, we spoke about you being associated with a good brand of football, and you've had managers like Brendan Rodgers and Roberto Martinez that help with that. But looking at your results, and as you've just alluded to there, when you need to, you can grind out a good result. 1-0 away at Preston and Forest, and then 2-0 away at Cardiff, which you won't mind me saying. So have you been able to adapt your style where you've needed to this season, and that's leading to these positive results?
100%. We've got some players, and they're very experienced players like Corey Smith, a championship midfielder who played for Bristol City for a number of years, managed to pick up on the free transfer. And he's just really helped solidify some games which we need to perform in. So, for example, South Wales Derby, Barnsley away, these aren't type of games where you're going to play quick attacking football. You're going to have to do the ugly side of the game and win ugly. And we've been doing that all season. Last season, at times, we were failing to win ugly. We didn't have a plan B. But this season, at home especially, we're playing a nice, attractive football, and away from home where, tough to break down and get some goals from the counter-attack. So I think the reason for this is the system we're playing. Towards the end of lockdown, actually, the start of lockdown last week, we changed this 3-5-2 system with the two wing backs, and it's just worked absolutely superbly. We've got a very young squad as well with, one or two experienced players in there. Andre, I'm sure Blackburn fans know all about him, Ryan Bennett and players like that as well. So, we've got a really good mixture between youngsters and experienced players, and it's just worked really well so far this season.
Yeah, and if I think about the game at the Liberty Stadium in October, despite us starting the game pretty well, and we had 59% possession overall, in the end we were well beaten 2-0. And there's a couple of really interesting stats that back that game up, not just that game, but your season as a whole. One of them you've referenced, and that's the 14 clean sheets in your 24 league games, which is impressive, and that suggests that you are defensively solid. But then this one astounded me, really surprisingly, for the team that's in second place. You haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of your league games, which I think is really incredible. So with that, are you just decide, you get the job done, you get your nose in front, and then you just know how to defend that lead out, which is how it played out at the Liberty Stadium when we played you, isn't it?
I think it's exactly how it is. Every time we've scored first in the championship, we've not gone on to lose the game. So I think as soon as we get that first goal, there's so much confidence, there's so much awareness of the players, and they just know to grind out a game. It's a little bit frustrating at times when you're 2-0 up, with half to go, 1 goal in championship. You could easily lose that game 3-2. So it's a bit nervy at times, especially when we get that second goal. We just sit back and relax. And we versed Stevenage in the FA Cup a few weeks back, and they had a penalty with 10 minutes to go. They score, that's a different game completely. So sometimes 2-0 is a dangerous score, and sometimes you need to get that third. So we have been very lucky sometimes this season, just winning 2-0. Like you were saying, when we versed you guys in the Liberty Stadium, we started off very, very well. And if you took the lead, it would have been a different game. But that's what we're good at. When teams are on top and they don't score, and then when usually we're at top, we get the goal. And with our style, when teams come at us, we can just break really well.
Yeah, I remember a chance for Armstrong in that game. I think he put it just wide of the post, didn't he? And then, you came into the game there. But yeah, I just found that stat absolutely incredible when I think of some of the goals that the likes of Norwich and Bournemouth and even Rovers this season have scored. For you not to score more than 2 all season is just amazing. Yeah, it is. So if we look at the recent form in a bit of detail then, Rhys, it is the 4 wins in the 5 in the league, which we've said. And that suggests that you are now starting to motor in the right direction. Some impressive results in there as well. 2-0 away at Barnsley last time out, which I think is a great result with how they play. And then the home win over Watford. So has the form been as good as these results are suggesting?
I'd say so, yes. It's quite different. It's quite weird, actually. The 2 results you mentioned there, the 2-1 win against Watford and the 2-0 win against Barnsley, total different performances. Against Watford, very good quick attack of football, and we went 1-0 down in that game. That was probably one of the best performances of the season. And, we were 1-0 down. And then Barnsley, for the first 45 minutes, we didn't register a single shot. And then when it was the 45th minute, then we score a goal from a long throw. You don't really associate Swansea City with these long throws. But Connor Roberts, he's challenging his inner Welsh rugby union ability with those throw-ins. So it's, we can, like you were saying, we can do the ugly side of the game. And it's good, really. But it's frustrating at times you don't know what type of Swansea City will turn up, but as long as there's Swansea City which get the 3 points, I don't really mind.
I'm just going to... Duguzi is very active in the comments tonight, but I'm just going to bring up this one. Yes, we have a player from Gibraltar called Louis Annesley, who is in our under-23s. So he's one who may or may not make the first team in the future, but Duguzi is very active there. So I just thought I'd address that. So then, Rhys, if we move on to the game itself, then your away form this season is also pretty decent, unsurprisingly, being second in the league. So 21 points on the road. That's 6 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. What's been your approach away from home? Does it differ to how you play at home? How are you addressing these games?
100%. I'd say at home, we are on the front foot looking to get the first goal. And I think every single away game so far this season, we've sat back for the first, 15, 20 minutes trying to ride the home team. And then if they don't score, then we get on top and then we usually get that first goal. Surprisingly, no a second, but we don't have 2 halves in us, which is quite strange. We perform for 1 half, for example, if we take the lead at half time, we try to get that early goal second half and just kill the game off. So we don't really have 2 sides in us, which will be very big for Blackburn tomorrow, considering you're attacking free. So be very interesting to see how the game goes.
Yeah, and am I right in saying it was 0-0 at half-time against Barnsley on Saturday? Was that right?
We scored just before half-time in like the 45th plus 2 minutes.
Okay. That's probably when I saw it as 0-0 and didn't spot that goal. So yeah, it sounds like if if it is 0-0 at half-time, maybe Rovers have got a chance. We are invariably a second half side in that regard. And just on the away performances then, Rhys, has there been any standout performances away from home this season?
There's been a few stand-up performances, of course. South Wales derby, absolutely incredible. That game dominated for the full 90 minutes. Yes, Cardiff were under 10 men for the last 20, but it was still a very strong performance. We've had some, games which we got a little bit lucky, like Preston, the first game of the season, only 1-0. Easily could have been a different scoreline that day. There's been a few, but it just depends really, because sometimes we perform, we don't have like a full 90 minutes in us, like I was saying. So it's going to be very interesting.
And what you've said there, Rovers haven't really had a full 90 in us this season either. And, we've got a real big stat against us, actually, particularly at home. I can't remember. I saw it on Twitter at the weekend. It's something like 30-something times that we've scored in the first half out of 80-odd games at home. It's quite incredible, actually. So, our home form is really something that we need to address. So, Rhys, before you join me tonight, I asked you to just help the Rovers fans out tonight. This is a little new thing that I've added into the show just to show the predicted 11. So, here we go. We can just talk through that. So, it's wing-backs that you play. And Connor Roberts is a player who I've seen getting a lot of plaudits this season at right wing-back. So, can you just talk to us about Connor Roberts first and how important he is to your side?
Connor Roberts is absolutely essential for Swansea City. The amount of athleticism he has, the amount of legs he has is incredible. He can run for the full 90 minutes. He can run up and down that wing incredibly. And, with a player, he's 24, 25, and, he's really starting to get into his prime now. So he's massive for us. He gets a lot of assists. I think he's one of the best assists for Swansea City this season. I also believe he has the second most chances created in, I think it's Europe, something mental like that. He's created like 52 odd chances this season, which is absolutely crazy to think of it for a right wing back. So everything which usually we do score is down that right hand side. And you've got to give credit to Jake Bidwell as well down that left hand side. He's a bit of a bigger build than Connor Roberts, and he can still run. So yeah, the wing backs are absolutely crucial to this formation, especially Connor Roberts.
And talk to us then a little bit about Roberts. What does he? Is he like a marauding wing back going forward? Is he quick? Is he pacey? Has he got a good cross? What's his strong attributes?
I'd say Roberts' strong attributes this season, especially, is his crossing. We've got a few good goals from his crossing this season. He is on our set pieces now, especially on the right hand side, the free kicks, the corners, and also we now can see he can take a good throw in as well, as he did get an assist that day. So he's really improving his whole game, and he can strike a ball as well.
And just to dip into the comments here, because we've had a few. So, Josh, Ayew going to end his goal drought tomorrow? So please don't tell me Ayew's on a goal drought. How long has he not scored in?
I don't think he scored since Boxing Day, which for Andre was a bit of a goal drought. He's not scored that often. Jamal Lowe's been scoring all the goals, 7 goals in 7 games, which is absolutely incredible, 9 for the season. Ayew, I don't know how many games there is, because he versus Reading, which he played awesome, and didn't score. We had Watford, he didn't score. Stevenage didn't play. So I think he's as good in 4 games, and He scored. I remember he scored in the 2-2 last season, didn't he? And in that season, the 1-1. Scored this season. Yeah, I think he will score tomorrow.
So Rovers fans watching this will know that I am a superstitious Rovers fan, and that I hate that he's on a goal drought. So we know what's happening tomorrow.
It's going to be one of them tap-ins the keeper saves and he just comes in. It's just going to happen.
Oh dear. And then another comment from Josh here. How do you pronounce that? Gay? Is it Gay?
Mark Guehi
and Cabango. So talk to us about those two and what they've brought, particularly, when we're talking about the clean sheets, what's their approach?
Absolutely incredible. Both of these centre-halves, which Josh just mentioned, are both 20 years old, which is absolutely mental. 20 years old, they can easily be playing under 23 football. As you can see there, Norton, the right centre-back, is the most experienced at the free there. He's 31. So when we do play the free centre-backs, or Norton's a right back, but can play centre-back in this case, we usually do have two youngsters with an experienced play. Usually it's Ryan Bennett, but he was out injured for a while. So I think it just breeds confidence, and they're quite goal scorers as well. Norton can score goals. Cabango's on free for the season now. So these two are absolutely crucial. Norton's the right footer. Guehi's a left-footed centre-back, which is quite rare these days. So it's very good to have a left-footed left centre-back and a right-footed right centre-back. So it's very good.
Oh, Rhys, you've put the fear of God into Rovers fans, I can tell you. So if I just dip into these comments. So pretty in quick succession, El Scotty, I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Alexander, I'm scared, Ryan. Can you help me? I don't think I can, Alexander. Wait till my score prediction. Michael Pearson, geez, the drought is over. Yep, that's Andre Ayew scoring. And then Kevin Bradshaw probably snatch himself a hat-trick, would be typical Rovers look. So, yeah, you've put the fear of God in us a little bit there, Rhys. If I just go back onto the side, are there any other danger men on that pitch? We focused on Roberts and Ayew in an attacking sense. Is there anyone else that Rovers need to be fearful of tomorrow?
I'd definitely say Jamal Lowe. At the start of the season, I would not expect him to be saying Jamal Lowe's a key danger, but 7 goals in 7 games for Jamal, 9 for the season. He scored 2 in the first 3 months of the championship, and since then he's been incredible. Looking at that midfield, Matt Grimes, Corey Smith, Jay Fulton, it's on paper, it's a very defensive midfield. All three are quite deep lying playmakers, defensive midfielders. So we don't actually have a number 10 in that system we got there. No attacking minded midfielders, but Fulton especially, he can strike the ball. I'd say Corey Smith, one of the bargains of the summer in the championship anyway, free transfer. He does the ugly side of the game. He goes very unnoticed. A lot of pundits don't really notice Corey Smith, but he does the ugly side of the game, tracking the men so they don't get an extra man in the box. So I'd probably say Jamal Lowe and Corey Smith is another 2 you need to look out for.
Sure, and if we just stick with your side, this is probably a really stupid question to ask of a side that's got 14 clean sheets in 24 games, and also a side that's in second place, particularly a side that looks settled to me. Are there any areas of weakness tomorrow that we can try and exploit?
Areas of weakness. Now, we have had the odd game now and again. For example, Middlesbrough away, we were very poor. Derby, we lost to, surprisingly, what the worst home record in the league, and they beat us. So what Derby and Middlesbrough did especially was just attack the living daylight out of the wing backs. Push the wing backs back to make a back five, so we couldn't use the wing backs as an advantage going forward. So for Blackburn, especially tomorrow, what I would say if you want to get a result from the game is you've got to use your wingers. Because if you go for the middle, I don't think you'll get through. So if you can use your wingers, Harvey Elliott, if they can, get some tricky players past the likes of Roberts, Bidwell, then we will move back to the back five. So it'll be a flat back five, which really, isn't the way we want to play, and then we do struggle really going forward.
So we've probably got one person that could do that on the pitch, I think, and that's Ryan Nyambe if he decides to maraud down that right side. But I remember vividly, actually, that Nyambe didn't really go forward against you at the Liberty Stadium. I remember that game and just noticing that he didn't do that. So hopefully if you've got a different approach at Ewood Park, Nyambe might just force Bidwell down that side a little bit. On the other side, left back still just remains a bit of a debatable area for Rovers. Barry Douglas, I saw your match preview. It's interesting that Barry Douglas has come out so highly on the stats. He's not really hit it off at Rovers yet, and I think we're still to see the best with him. So whether he can maraud down that left and force Roberts back, who knows? But what you've said there in terms of your weakness and how we're going to exploit you and pushing you back, I'm not confident we're going to do that, if I'm being honest.
I think Blackburn showed us Swansea a bit too much respect, especially after you had that, good opening 15, 20 minutes to Liberty. Then you sat back, didn't you? And I think that really helped us. So I don't think Blackburn should be that scared of us. I know we're second in the league, but Brentford do have 2 games in hand. But I think Blackburn should just go out and attack the game. You're mid-table, you've got nothing to lose at the minute because you're 2 points off playoffs. You're not going to go down. So, Blackburn got nothing to lose. We got something to lose. So, if anything, we'd probably be the team holding on to the point, not Blackburn. So, Blackburn have got to attack the game.
Absolutely. I think there's a couple of things I'll say on that. Your defence, I think, has been fairly stable all season, hasn't it? You've been able to pick a solid defence. And I've always said on these shows that counts for a lot at this level. And we've had no end of injuries in defence, and we just can't get that settled back for. The other thing I'll say, Mowbray has alluded in the press today that with the state of our pitch, he might well start to change approach away from this possession-based football. So who knows? Tomorrow night might be when we decide to change up that approach. Maybe there'll be a change in formation. I don't know, but we'll see. So Rhys, just on the flip side then, away from Swansea, Rovers, what's your view on Rovers this season? And did you expect us to be higher up the table than we are?
I think when I did my predictions at the start of the season, I think I put Blackburn 5th. Now, Blackburn fans would probably love me for that, saying, what's this Swansea fan on about? But at the start of the season, I was thinking, Blackburn, Tony Mowbray, good manager, experienced. They got Adam Armstrong, who did well last year before he'd carry on. You saying Harvey Elliott before he'd be a very good addition. Bradley Dack also had that injury, which really caused it. And I thought, you might have a steel back four, but like you said, injuries has really affected you. The inconsistency, the amount of goals you've conceded, but then the amount of goals you've scored. So Blackburn like a high-scoring game, and I think Blackburn need to do what Swansea have done this season. Get the defence sorted first, then score the goals. It's not pretty going forward for us. We're getting 1 or 2 goals now. Because the defence is so solidified, we just keep the clean sheets. And I think Blackburn next season, if you do keep Tony Mowbray, you get a different manager in. I think whoever comes in, they just got to sort that defence out first and build a solid line at the back, like Neil Warnock's done. Middlesbrough last season, conceding so many goals, he's got them in, and luckily Middlesbrough. So I think the potential's there for Blackburn. I think they could definitely be in the top 6 of the squad they've got. It's just, consistency, that's the key.
That's it, and I think that consistency is driven from a solid backline. So that's absolutely where Rovers need to do it. And unfortunately for Mowbray, the stats don't lie. And how many signings has he made for Blackburn Rovers in his time as manager? It's something daft. Like, someone will correct me in the comments, but it's like 6 or 7 defensive signings that we've made in his whole time at Rovers, and that stuff catches up with you in the end. We've got an embarrassment of riches in midfield and arguably some great attackers, but ultimately it means nothing if you can't keep a clean sheet, doesn't it? So, hopefully we can address that, certainly. So, Rhys, as we did last time, and as Rovers fans watching this will know, I do like to do links between the 2 clubs, particularly players who play for Swansea now, who did play for Rovers. I'm going to talk about the player who we did last time in Matt Grimes, who was on loan from Swansea in 2016, and he made 13 appearances. Is he as important to Swansea this season as he has been for the previous few seasons?
Surprisingly not. He's not been as important as the last couple of seasons, because I think, midfield were absolutely stacked. We've got some great players in midfield. So there was a time actually after the Blackburn game where, Grimes was struggling really for form. I don't think he played that well against Blackburn actually, and then he got dropped. Came on in a couple of games then, got an assist, and then dropped again. But overall, this season, he has been impressive. Not as impressive as the other seasons, as mentioned. But, Grimes is the main player in that midfield who can get the ball out of the defence and pick the passes out wide. And I think Grimes is like the only player who's actually standing in that midfield with Jay Fulton, Corey Smith and Matt Grimes who can actually do that. So if Blackburn can, with a press, and if you do a high press, if you can get on Matt Grimes, then you could see a lot of kids who pass out from the back, especially if you stop Matt Grimes from getting the ball. So he is a very important player to us.
Yeah, and then the other one, when we spoke last time, this was a really tedious link. I don't know if you remember, but it was Ryan Manning, who we were really linked with in the summer, and he ended up joining you. Has he featured much for Swansea? How has he done?
He's more featured as a second choice wing back. He's not played too many games. He played, I think, he usually plays midweek, so he could feature tomorrow because we've got an FA Cup game on the Saturday and another midweek game next week. So he might feature. He's done okay. The big game I actually would say he's played in is the Watford game a few weeks back. He was originally on the bench, but we did pick up an injury in the warm-up, so he went into the left wing back role. And I've got to say, for the first 10, 20 minutes, he did look up at Katie, but he grew into the game massively, got down that left-hand side superbly, got a few good tackles in. So if he does play, I would be confident in him, but I just don't think he's defensively solid as Jake Bidwell. So he's done okay this season.
Yeah, and I think it was Deguzi who said, or it might have been Josh. Yeah, Josh, sorry. So Bidwell is underrated. So that says it all, doesn't it? If Manning was, pretty, not marquee signing, but a highly rated signing in the summer, if Jake Bidwell's still keeping his place, that says a lot, doesn't it?
I believe he got Ryan Manning for about £250,000. And in this day and age, that's a great deal.
That is, yeah, at this level, absolutely. Someone who's got that level of experience at championship level as well. And just as a final question, Rhys, before we go into our score predictions, we were chatting just before we came live. But is there any January transfer business so far? Any rumours, any ins, any outs? How's it looking for Swansea?
We are very close to signing this USA, I don't think he's USA, but left winger from Seattle Sounders who can play striker, Jordan Morris. Ideally, don't know too much about him, but a lot of Swansea fans are raving about this signing. People from the MLS are absolutely excited about this. Apparently, we beat the likes of Bayer Leverkusen and Wolfsburg from the Bundesliga to him, so must be a very impressive player. He can play striker as well. A lot of MLS fans say he should be playing for a big club in the Premier League. So it says a lot about him. We're also linked with Conor Hourihane from Aston Villa, which would be an absolute great signing. I'm not sure if we need him though. I know that sounds ridiculous probably for a Blackburn fan saying, does he? Why? He just want Conor Hourihane? But we're so stacked in the midfield. So we've got so many quality players. I just don't know where he'd play. There's been some quiet links, Freddie Woodman to Arsenal, but I just think that's nothing at all. We did sign Ben Hamer from Huddersfield Town. He's not the greatest of keepers, but he's just a backup. So, like I said, John Morris will probably sign next few days. Conor Hourihane, Cardiff are linked with him as well. I think Barnsley will link to him as well, but Cardiff can go to Barnsley. So, yeah, that's all like the transfer deals for Swansea at the minute.
Makes me physically sick if you get Conor Hourihane. I just think you're hoping that Swansea get weaker, and it's just like, that is a cracking signing. Rovers fans, let us know what you think about Swansea signing Conor Hourihane. I think that is an immense signing. And you were talking about...
They've spoiled for me saying, oh, we don't really need him.
Well, yeah, you should sound spoiled. Well, you talk about that midfield three that you've said there. They're a bit more defensively minded, and not having that number 10. Maybe Hourihane could be a good link player, but maybe not a number 10, but a good link player between IU and your midfield three. So I think it's a cracking signing, and he's got promoted with Villa before, hasn't he? So what a signing if you pull that one off. So Rhys, we have reached the part of the show where I put you on the spot with your score predictions. Rovers fans watching in, please let us know yours. We've had a couple already, which I'll bring up on the screen in a moment. So Rhys, let us know how you think the game is going to go. What's your score prediction?
Well, Swansea fans will hate me for this, because I think every single time this season I've predicted, bar one, when I'm confident, I say Swansea win, and we end up not winning. So I think I predicted Swansea to win about 8 times this season, and 7 times we've not won. So I'm sorry, Swansea fans, but I'm going to go for a Swansea City win, which probably means Blackburn will win tomorrow, now knowing my luck. I'm going to go for a 2-0 Swansea win. I think, Swansea and 2-0 just religiously love each other. I'm going to go for Andre from the penalty spot. I'm sorry, Blackburn fans. We've only had 1 penalty this season. We don't get many penalties at all. So, AU loves a goal against Blackburn. And what way to win this goal than a penalty when we don't get any? And I'll go for Jay Fault in the midfielder, probably from inside the box. So I'm going to go 2-0 on Jay from the penalty spot and Jay Fault.
I can just see him scoring. I can see a penalty. I can see him scoring. So my days. Like some of the Rovers fans that you've seen, Rhys, I'm not confident about this. You're defensively solid. You get the job done. You'll keep it tight. You'll be patient. You'll let Blackburn have the ball. That's not going to bother you at all. And we've really struggled on our pitch. We've had Doncaster and Stoke at Ewood Park since we trained on that pitch with the snow. And we've just really struggled to get that fluidity together. And I can just see you exploiting that. You'll be patient. Wouldn't surprise me if you got a goal in the last 10 minutes or something like that. So I am also leaning towards a 1-0 Swansea win, like some of the Rovers fans, unfortunately. And I don't like predicting Rovers to lose, but you're second in the league for a reason. That clean sheet record speaks for itself. The way your results have gone this season speaks for itself. So I can just see a really tight, low-scoring affair that Swansea do just edge.
I don't. Before you get into your score predictions, sorry, I was just going to say I don't think it'll be a great game of football. Usually, both of these two sides will play thing, but we've won ugly. Barnsley's pitch Saturday was pretty poor, and we won ugly. So I think, it's going to be what team can grind out the game tomorrow.
That's it. And I just think you've got that a little bit more in you at the moment. We still need to bring the likes of Lewis Travis back to full fitness, Bradley Dack back to full fitness. These are the players who I want us to drag us through games a little bit. I think we're just not seeing that at the moment. We're not seeing that kind of oomph in our side. So, yeah, sadly, I can see a Swansea 1-0. And do you know what? Let's just complete it. 1-0 Andre Ayew. That is what's going to happen. So I'm completing my prediction with that. So, score predictions wise, I think Alexander was first. Yes, he was. Alexander's gone as well. So, hopeful. Oh, he's gone 2-1 Rovers. Alexander. Oh, he's not here to take the glory of his 2-1 win. Deguzi has gone 2-1 Swansea win. Michael Pearson saying that we need a win from somewhere. Well, 3 or 4 wins. Yes, we do. Oh, we lost Rhys. Let's just amend that screen whilst we just wait for him to come back. Here he is. He's back. Here we go.
Sorry about that.
We lost you. There we go. You're back now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You were too offended by Alexander Haben's 2-1 Rovers victory. That's what it was. He went.
It was Andre on the phone. It was saying he's going to score tomorrow.
Mark Whittle is saying Swansea 1-0. Jamal Lowe. Kevin, that's me too. I can't remember what your prediction was, Kevin. I think you said 1 or 2-0. Just let me know what you did say, Kevin. Dizzy Thumbs is saying 2-1 Swansea. Alex Isherwood, 2-1 Swansea. Going to be a tough game for Rovers. Josh, 2-1 Swansea. Deguzi, 2-1 Swansea with an Elliott consolation. Michael Pearson, Hart, 1-0 Rovers. Head, 2-0 Swansea. Hope I'm wrong. Luke Kimberley, 1-1 for me, a frustrating game for both teams given the pitch. Now, I know that was hard for you to do that one, Luke. Luke is one of our most positive Rovers fans, and he would have predicted a Rovers win if he was feeling confident. But, yeah, I'm not feeling confident either, Luke. El Scotty, 2-0 Swansea. They'll be too good for us, I think. Kevin Bradshaw, either a boring 0-0 draw or a 4-3 Rovers slugfest. Jesus, now, that would be 4-3. Amazing.
No, Blackburn have the capability of that, but Kevin, Swansea have not scored more than 2 goals this season. So.
There we go. Callum, can't believe I've missed the show again. Darn it. Don't worry, Callum. You can get it on the watch back if you need to. But you've snuck in there with your prediction with 2-1 Blackburn. Good on you, Callum. Some of us are feeling less confident than that. And then Luke Kimberley, my most negative prediction. Yeah, I know, Luke. That one was really hard for you to predict it in that sense. So, yeah, Rhys, you can see we're not feeling too confident. Rovers aren't in the most productive form at the moment. Not many points from our last 8 games. And, we're just really, really struggling to find some fluidity at the moment. And I do think a formation change or a change in personnel might just suit Rovers well. And when we have got Dack and Travis back to full fitness, I just wonder if that's the time that Moby does do that, because 4-3-3 has been okay for us this season. And we've seen some good performances from the likes of Harvey Elliott and Ben Brereton and others like that. And Armstrong, of course. But yeah, this possession-based football, we just need that cutting edge, like what Swansea have got. I'm sure there's been games, Rhys, that you've had this season where Swansea might not have had a lot of the ball, but you've kept it tight, you've stayed in the game, and then you've got the goal when it matters. And I think
He's a great example of that. Babs is a great example of that.
Yeah, it is. And I think everything that Swansea are at the moment is what Rovers need to develop in their game. And it doesn't need to be possession all the time. It doesn't need to be, nice, attractive football all the time. This is the edge of our game that I just think we need to develop a little bit. So it'll be really interesting coming up against Swansea tomorrow night, and we'll see how that goes. So thank you, Rovers fans, for watching in and doing your predictions. Callum, yeah, I can't predict a loss. It's my Achilles heel. I know how you feel on that one. So thank you all for coming in with your predictions, Rovers fans. Really appreciate you coming and joining Rhys and I. Rhys, thank you for giving up your evening tonight as well. Just a reminder to Rovers fans, it is a 7 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. And Michael, you did ask the question earlier, why is it a 7 p.m. kickoff? I've got no idea. Maybe it's...
I know why.
Oh, you do know?
Yeah.
Why is it?
Sounds silly. Sounds silly because it's 45 p.m, but I think Swansea asked the Championship to move it back 45 so they get home earlier. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, but Cooper has been absolutely howling in the press about having to travel Saturday late kick-off and go into Blackburn Monday. So we've had 1 day's training. They come home on Sunday. and then they got up today. So Cooper's absolutely furious.
Well, I did see that in the press earlier, and actually it's a logical reason. I was just going to make up some waffle answer that they're obviously expecting a big crowd for the game or something and make some kind of joke out of it, but at least you've given a legitimate answer. So, Michael, hopefully that answers the question there, Michael, about why the game's been moved to 7. And yeah, totally understand that. So there you go. 7 p.m. kickoff, everyone. We will be live tomorrow evening about 5:15 tomorrow. With our pre-match live stream, ready to receive that team news at about 6 p.m. and then obviously ready for the game at 7 p.m., which is Cooper time. I like that, Michael. So yes, 5:15 p.m.-ish for our pre-match live stream, and then we'll be post-match after the full-time whistle, about 9:15, I think it'll be. So thank you, Rovers fans, for tuning in. Thank you, Rhys, for joining us this evening.
No worries.
We will leave you, as ever, with our sponsor message from 6yardsout.com. The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.